tell.
It's like the testing dipstick when you're checking your pool water.
Yeah. Because I have a pool. I have pool water. Yeah.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name is Mike Royer.
And this week, the streaming service wars are heating up.
These have been heating up for an eternity now, it feels like.
Well, they got a new stove. The water's starting to boil a little faster. You put a little salt in it, it gets quicker. That's what I know. With that, Disney Plus starts bundle announcements, Mike.
Yeah.
It's gonna rustle your jimmies or get you really excited. One of the two. Will the Joker beat its box office brethren in the DC universe?
Well, I mean, it makes sense for brethrens to fight. That's been like that for centuries.
Yeah, and more.
Well, speaking of, you're talking about salt in the water. It kind of reminded me of like old wives' tales. I was camping this weekend, so we were kind of reading off these cards that were old wives' tales, and I think it was part of like a board game. But when you're with a big group of people out in the wilderness, there's no place to put a board, so we were just kind of like reading through these cards, and you basically like read the old wives' tale, then people have to guess like true or false, and you flip around to the back, and it kind of tells you the origin of the wives' tale and like what possibly could be true about it. But there was this like one ridiculous one that was like was asking like, why shouldn't you have a cat around like a young baby? So everyone was just like, oh well, it's got to be something to do with like something in the cat's like feces that baby shouldn't be around, or someone said something about the cat's saliva, or the cat could scratch the baby. I don't know. We offered a lot of very logical explanations, and they're just like, no, the old wives' tale is you can't have cats around babies because they'll come steal the breath out of your baby's mouth. And we're like, what? Where on earth did this old wives' tales come from?
Probably Russia. Was it Russia?
So ever since then, I can't get the image out of my head of like a cat walking up to the baby and just like Dementor style like sucking the air out of it. So I guess watch out for your kids and cats if the old wives are true. So there you go. Salt in the water and cats around babies.
Wow. I mean, I see the resemblance there.
I can see you're shocked, Chris.
Yeah, I've got to do me a Google after this. That's for sure. I'm gonna put that in our notes. But this weekend, I mean, like we said before this, I went to Lafayette, our old stomping grounds, this weekend to see some friends. One listener of the show, Patrick, I know he's listening right now, so shout out to him for helping me win every game we played this weekend. So that was really fun. But I will tell you, I'm not built for this stuff anymore. Sleeping in cheap hotel rooms and playing yard games all weekend. I'm sore and tired, Mike.
I know. I feel like we're at this weird age where, like, since we don't have kids yet, we can't quite complain like all of the rest of the adults out there that have children. But we're still older than a lot of the youngsters out there, so I feel like I'm in this weird zone because we had a friend of a friend who came camping with us this weekend, and they were just 18 years old, and they were from across the pond over in the UK, so they were on vacation so in a totally different country, 18, kind of on vacation. And they had all of these different cultural like touch points and staying up late, drinking a bunch, and I was like, man, I remember when I used to be able to do that.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta sit in the car for 3 hours. This is relaxing, right? No, it makes you that much more sore when you get home. You're like, oh my gosh. It's awful, man. We're just out of shape for this kind of thing.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna have kids purely for the sake of having a free range to just complain about life. Like, all right, I finally got the kid. Now nobody can look at me and call me a young whippersnapper and just say, "Oh, wait till you have kids." So that's son, you were born just so I could complain. So I hope you're on board for this.
Yeah, you got plans. He's got plans for you. You got destiny. One of the things I have been doing this week to kind of unwind, as my wife goes back to her teaching schedule, and I've been watching Legion season 2 finally.
Oh wow, getting around to Legion.
Because I love the first season, and the third season, the series ends, I think, this coming week. So I'm hoping I can get through 2 and then start 3 with all of them at my disposal. So I'm not, waiting for that to debut. And I will tell you, that's still season 2, even more of a show where you cannot be on your phone or doing something else while you're watching it. You have to watch that show or you're going to be confused in 5 minutes or less. So
speaking of just paying attention, have you heard or have you been keeping up with Quibi, the streaming service Quibi?
Quibi.
Quibi, this is real. I'm not just making it up.
What kind of Pokemon is a Quibi? That's my question.
So Quibi is this new streaming service that's launching next year, I believe in the spring, and it has a bunch of venture backing, so it has a lot of money behind it. But the whole angle for this streaming service is I believe it's going to be mobile based only. So I don't know if it's necessarily going to have like a web page or if you're going to even be able to pull it up on your TV at home. I think it's supposed to be like mobile phone first. And everything that they're producing for Quibi is going to specifically be made to be shown in like, I think 10-minute increments. So whether you're like a big movie director that gets a deal with Quibi or you're a TV show director, they want everything in small, like bite-sized chunks. And I think one of these old Disney executives started it. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, so it's got name recognition behind it. Even Steven Spielberg is on board with it because he said he wants to develop a kind of like a scary horror-based show that you can only watch in your region if the sun has set. So they're going to build these kind of functionalities into the streaming service of some content's only available if the sun's down. So it's just like the attention span is getting shorter and shorter. So I can't imagine anything like Legion ever being on a service like Quibi. Well, actually, no, it could go the other way around now that I think about it, because you just said you can't be on your phone and also watch Legion at the same time. But if your phone is preoccupied with the show that you're watching, maybe this is a roundabout way to get people to pay attention to TV shows again.
I just did a quick search here because it's spelled different than what it sounds like. But it looks like it's a short-form video streaming platform.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's already got names: Guillermo del Toro, Kevin Hart, Idris Elba, Jennifer Lopez. Looks like Punk'd is coming out for this.
Yeah, Punk'd is coming. Well, Punk'd actually makes sense. I feel like any sort of like reality-based show.
Is this just YouTube that you pay for? Because that's what it sounds like. YouTube you pay for.
I mean, maybe. I'm sure there's been lots of hot takes on Quibi, but stay tuned because all it takes, Chris, is for one comic book or superhero property to land on this streaming service until we have to start talking about it.
Do you watch the CW Seed?
The CW Seed, I haven't got around to it. No,
exactly.
But I know there's some stuff on it.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm not gonna watch those short 5-minute animated shows on the Seed, I'm not gonna watch them.
Come on, to be honest, it's the CW Seed. It's not on anybody's radar, and there's no venture backing behind CW Seed. They're not making waves. So.
Yeah, I think this is gonna. I'll pass on this one too, but we'll get there.
Yeah, there's a publication out there called The Verge. They're like a tech blog. And one of their editors has the scale for streaming services. He calls it the Go 90 scale because, Chris, I don't know if you remember, Verizon once had their own streaming service called Go 90 that fell flat and went away. So his scale is like Netflix is like on the one end of the Go 90 scale and then Go 90 on the other end. So he's been putting like streaming services anywhere on this spectrum. And right now he's got Quibi pretty close to the Go 90 end. So some of the tech experts out there don't have a lot of faith in it. But everybody put Quibi on your radars, people.
Yeah. You don't have to bump up those data plans, or at least make sure you're on Wi-Fi when you're watching it. Otherwise, you're done.
Yep.
You're done. Yeah, I think that's about it. But I mean, you've been watching some shows yourself this week.
Yes.
And you've been giving me some feedback on these shows and mysterious emojis, really. And
did you pick up on that emoji?
Oh, I did. I 100% got exactly what you were saying, because I think and we're gonna talk about The Boys. We're gonna beat around the bush. Mike got around to watching The Boys this week, and it's a pretty quick jaunt. I think through season 1, 8 episodes. I don't know how fast you watched it over there, but when you start like I said, when you watch the first episode, Mike, did you think, yes, this show's for me as soon as you saw that first episode?
Yeah, it's not only like it's hard to say it's a pilot because most stuff doesn't really have pilots anymore. Everything's pre laid out to be filmed all in succession anyway. But they just have like a great cold opening for the boys that just sets up everything that you need to know about the show. And parts of it are in the trailer, but we're not going to spoil anything here. Go out and just go watch The Boys. It's 8 episodes. We're going to talk.
You've got Amazon Prime anyway.
Yeah,
come on, people.
Yeah, we're going to talk about season 2 here in a second. Some news. So it's just 8 episodes. Hopefully, we'll have the next 8 or however more they order here soon. So just go watch it. Go check it out. So no spoilers here, but yeah, it was just great. It was fun. They do this great this great walking the line of just being extremely serious with really serious material that they're dealing with, and then just these zany, wacky superhero scenarios. It kind of reminds like when you sit down with your friends and you kind of come up with the most graphic, kind of like immature things of like, oh, if you had superpowers, this is actually what would happen in the real world. And then they do that. They like do that in the show, and it's really funny and it's really gross. And then sometimes they go really mature themes, so it's all over the place. It's really fun and it's really exciting. Well, I definitely have some nitpicks, but overall I just had a really great time. If you're gonna binge it, I would suggest maybe starting it on a weekend, because correct me if I'm wrong, these are like a solid like 60 minutes. So like these are kind of like Game of Thrones runs episodes. So if you're trying to catch this after you get home from the office, you might only be able to catch like 2 or 3 at a time. So just sit down on like a Saturday morning and just like play them all in a row. They're great.
Yeah, get your bowl of cereal and then promptly put that bowl of cereal down, because this show is very graphic in all sorts of things. And that kind of leads us up to the season 2 photo. Season 2's already started production. Literally, the show's been out 2 weeks. Amazon said it is one of their most viewed Amazon originals. I know a lot of people who've watched it as well. The Eric Kripke, actually the guy behind Supernatural, is the showrunner for this, and it looks like he's working on season 2, and it looks like it's going to be just as bloody as the first season.
Yeah, we can see this screenshot of everybody excluding Carl Urban covered in blood.
He's taking the photo, Good guy.
I hope so. Well, we were talking before we started recording that probably the biggest hurdle with recording The Boys has got to be Carl Urban, because he's their big celebrity, he's their big get, so they probably have to shoot around his schedule. Carl Urban is great in the show, and all of the characters have this really wonderful kind of shades of gray. Like you'll revile one character at 1 minute, but then you'll get some backstory later, and you're just like, oh, that's why they're like that way. Oh, now I feel a little bad for them, and then they're a dick again, and you can go back to hating them. So yeah, it's just really good. I'm really glad it's really good.
yeah, exactly. It's really fun. The characters, like you said, the characters always are all. There's only the boys on in the comic book is 5 of them, 4 guys and a girl, and the comic book is way different than the show. I'll tell you that now. Don't even try to go read the book, because you're gonna be like, this is way different. But they all gel together in their own ways here. Like they all play off of each other so well. And it's just a fun time. I think my least favorite actress in this is not the president, I guess the vice president of the company or whatever, the one who handles the superheroes. I can't think of her. Elizabeth Shue. Elizabeth Shue.
Gotcha.
Just something about her face doesn't do it for me when she's acting. I don't know. I got a face problem with her. I have those. With
well, you're not the only person who also had face problems, and that will be my biggest hint towards something that happens in this show.
yeah. It's just a wild ride, and I'm like I said, I'm glad it could have been a cheap show, and they somehow pulled it off. Especially, I mean, they're very thinly veiled Justice League parallels in this as well, because you have your Superman parallel, your Wonder Woman parallel. Aquaman is the butt of all jokes yet again. So it's just a fun time. So.
I do like how they lean into laser vision quite a lot, because you can see that in the trailers and the marketing for this show. And I started to think, yeah, if somebody did have laser vision, they would probably just use that all the time. It solves all of your problems for most things. Like Superman doesn't need his super strength or to fly. He just shoots laser beams out of his eyeballs. So I do like how that gets gratuitously used by a couple different characters, and it's really fun to watch what happens.
Yeah, they got that plug-in for those laser eyes working really well in that show. So, season 2, like we were speculating before the show, could be here in spring, maybe, if they're already filming right now. So, we couldn't remember if we brought it up on the show before, but they had renewed it for season 2 even before the first season aired. So I would imagine like pre-production for season 2 could have happened concurrently or as soon as they were done filming. So, if it airs in, I think it was end of July, wasn't it? 2 weeks ago. So
so maybe by spring that would be great. Because even though 8 episodes is like a really great amount of time to spend with a show, that means it's over even sooner. So it's nice to, maybe we won't have to wait a whole year.
It's hard to pick up on a show that you really enjoy a year later sometimes, because you're like, what happened? What has changed in the world in a year?
There's a lot of editors getting a lot of jobs, I think, for recaps of seasons. I think when we finished finally watching the last season of Orange is the New Black, and before you start that last season, you don't just get a last season of Orange is the New Black recap. You get an entire series recap. I think that was at least 10 or 15 minutes long. So they understand that you watch this stuff very quickly and you have not seen it in a whole year. So
here are the important parts. So remember these as you go into the show. But yeah, and then honestly, the Tick being canceled after 2 seasons, and Netflix also saying recently that there is no point to do a show beyond 2 seasons because it doesn't bring in new people. It's the first 2 seasons. Do you think this will get a third one, or do you think 2 is going to be 1 and 2?
Well, I think Amazon is probably still competing on the streaming side of things. They're a whole big package, but I would hope that they would keep a show on longer because they don't necessarily have to fine-tune the numbers as much as Netflix.
I know Amazon's a very poor company. They don't make a lot of money every year. That's my understanding. And I don't know how they're going to be able to keep up with making Lord of the Rings look so good over when they get that up off the ground.
Oh, I got to tell 2 people this weekend on the campground that Lord of the Rings was getting a TV show on Amazon. They looked at me and said, "What?" It was great. Just putting the news out there to the people.
Are they Lord of the Rings fans, or they were?
They were, because when they were asking me what it's about, I with my limited knowledge of the series in general, I told them it's going to basically be a prequel about the rise of Sauron, and then they started throwing these definitions of the ages of those different times, and I was like, I don't know what that means, but it's about 3,000 years before the movies. So even if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, Amazon Prime still isn't quite cutting through to the mainstream.
Yeah, I guess they're just not doing their I guess unless you're ordering things on Amazon, their marketing's not really hitting everything.
Yeah, you gotta wait until you order something from Amazon, and then they do the special customized tape. Yeah, that's when something's coming out on Amazon Prime.
I would tell you, I'm a big Reddit user, Mike. I think you are as well. Every other ad has been The Boys for the past month on there, but
also Screen Junkies and Honest Trailers has been The Boys as well.
Oh yeah. But I was going to say about Lord of the Rings, it's not in our news here because it's kind of out of our realm a little bit. We're not Tolkien heads as much as other people are. However, apparently the Tolkien estate has really, really strict rules about the series, what they can and can't change in the mythos of Lord of the Rings. It has to actually follow the book rules. They can't make a whole spin-off and do kind of what they want.
They can't have aliens show up?
Nope, they can't have no crystal skulls, no Indiana Joneses. The boys can't come in and save people at the last second, so no crossover there.
The Boys, Lord of the Rings, Sauron crossover. It would make no sense, but it would be funny.
Carl Urban was already in Lord of the Rings, so that's why they can't use him.
That's true. Oh, okay, yeah, it would just be too confusing.
Yeah, very much so. They wouldn't know what's going on. Can't have him there, but yeah, that was cool. And what was the other thing I was just going to say about... the ads on Reddit? I don't remember. We'll cross that bridge. Oh no, in honest trailers. We didn't talk about this, Mike. I want to talk about it on the air. In-game's honest trailer came out in the middle of a digital and physical release because we thought it would come out. I thought it was kind of disappointing. I'm just gonna drop that out there. If you want to watch that, feel free. But I don't know if you've seen it yet, Mike. But I thought it was disappointing.
Well, sometimes it's like you don't always really know what you want them to talk about in the honest trailer. Sometimes it resonates, sometimes it doesn't. I can only imagine how much pressure they put on themselves when it comes to like an endgame release, because they know this is probably going to be their biggest honest trailer of the entire year. So. And they also personally kind of know the Russo brothers, so I don't know if maybe sometimes they're pulling punches. But it was kind of nice seeing like this. I like the bit where they were talking about how they definitely made sure you understood the time travel rules, because they brought it up several different times. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, I think so I really like their Infinity War one, to be completely honest. I thought it was longer and maybe it wasn't as constricted by sponsorship, I guess. But the Shazam one this year has been my favorite by far.
Yeah, I like that one. That was good.
So, sorry, that's a tangent off of The Boys, but, yeah. Netflix, we're working on our segues today, Mike.
Yeah, there we go, Chris. I was waiting for it. We said Chris is a little tired and a little exhausted today, and I was like, well, we'll know for sure once we get to your first segue, and there you go, the lack of one.
Yeah, exactly. So, Netflix... David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, famed, loved writers of their Game of Thrones show and how they ended it, have signed an exclusive deal with Netflix. Weirdly,
you go.
To write, produce, and direct new series / films for the service.
I tell you what, one guy around the campfire yesterday was wearing a I Drink and I Know Things t-shirt. So, and we were just kind of talking about just general stuff, and I brought up how did everybody feel about the ending of Game of Thrones? And it was like a 20-minute crosstalk of people just complaining over the fire, and I just sat back and I watched it. I was like, I could jump into this conversation, but I feel like people are just airing their grievances. Like when people talk about the ending of Game of Thrones, no one's having like a constructive like conversation. They're just waiting for somebody to bring it up so they can just shout their complaints into the ether. It's just like, it's very therapeutic. They just need to get it out of their systems.
So you threw the fireworks into this proverbial fire at a real fire and then just walk away.
Yeah,
I just want to watch this show. I don't want to contribute. I just want to see where this goes.
There was about 10 of us, and only one person I think was generally positive about the ending, but with caveats of things that they wish they did better. And then on the other end, there was people just like, "Oh, it's trash. I hate it now." So all through the spectrum, you just got to get about a baker's dozen, and you'll get the whole range.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And enough that they pulled out of Comic-Con too. I don't know if anyone knew that. They pulled out of their panel for San Diego like 2 days before.
They didn't want to get yelled at.
No, they were scared of that crowd. I would have been too. But this is rumored to be a 5-year contract with Netflix. Now that makes me think 5 years, pretty good deal. Aren't they queued up to do a Star Wars trilogy right now, which is planned to take out like the next 5 years as well? So why would Netflix get them now for 5 years after Star Wars? Or do they think they're going to do both?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe it comes down to just more like executive producing credits. Maybe they're just going to kind of put some ideas out there, hire some people that they know, and then when Netflix cuts the trailers, they can say from the creators of Game of Thrones or from the creators of one of the most successful TV shows of all time comes so-and-so. But obviously, it's a show run by a totally different person. So I would think kind of whether you call them like hacks or successes, or whatever you want to call them, they're at the level now to where they don't actually have to make the TV shows anymore. They're just kind of like TV show consultants. They get the top level paychecks and they get to use their name. So that's what I think would happen.
Well, except the press release does say from Netflix they are going to write and direct stuff as well.
Well, yeah, they just like J.J. Abrams, usually he directs the first episode, probably writes or gives notes on the pilot, and then you don't see him again for the rest of the season. So who knows? They were talking about that Confederate show that got announced at a very awkward time, so that's not coming back, and that was going to be on HBO. So I'm curious, like, did the HBO contract or exclusivity window close and then Netflix swooped in? I'm not sure.
I think we are going to see them booted from Star Wars. I think this is going to, because you have a Netflix and a Disney Plus owned competition and they're sharing the same people. I think there's going to be something. They're like, oh, we've parted ways amicably. we have new people to do Star Wars.
You know what? Normally I would say, Chris, you're crazy, but we saw some of the top directing pairs in Hollywood right now, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, get booted mid-production off of Han Solo. So anything is possible, especially after the ending of Game of Thrones. Like if Disney wanted their out, if for some reason they just felt like they weren't good for the project, they have a reason now. They don't need to fabricate anything, you know?
Yeah, and well, it may be that. I mean, also they could have maybe laid out a good outline, and someone else will write and direct. Maybe they'll story by them, but like they're free to go make their. I heard rumored $300 million at Netflix for this deal, and someone else does Star Wars. So Rian Johnson, let's get him in there. I hear he's really good with Star Wars things these days too. Everything is so hot and touchy right now. You can't do anything in the nerd community without being poked and prodded. But Disney Plus, Mike, we've got some. It was on an investors call. Now, mind you, this is not an official public announcement. This is an investors call. An announced initial bundle for Disney Plus. One of the few ones is the $12.99, $13 a month, on par with Netflix's main package. You get Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus.
We should say Hulu parentheses ad-supported version for that price point.
The basic bundles of pretty much all three of them. The standard packages all together. Because, like I said, this is an investors call. I guarantee you they will be like, yeah, if you want to get the commercial-free one. Is that called Hulu Plus?
I think so. I believe it's Hulu Plus.
So, like, you can pay whatever the difference is and add it on. Like, it's going to be one of those things.
Looking at my spreadsheet where I organize my monthly finances, where I do have Hulu on there, I pay $12 a month for the version of Hulu without the commercials. So I'm curious how much the bundle would be with the commercial-free version, because we know I'm getting Disney Plus already, and that's going to be another $8 a month. So that's $20 total. So I would probably just go to the bundle if it's less than $20, and they'd be like, Mike, you don't watch sports. And they're like, yeah, I don't. But if I can get it for free, I might as well. Some of those 30 for 30 documentaries
you need to
are
get
interesting.
A sports friend who wants to split that cost with you.
I do have sports friends, so maybe I could do that.
Yeah, I'm like, I got people like, I don't care about Disney. I'm like, well, how about this ESPN Plus third package?
Hey,
here?
how about we go halvesies here, buddy? We got the perfect deal.
You don't have to go halvesies. You can go thirdsies with me here. I'll take the other two. You don't have to worry about it.
Thirdsies.
Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be good. You can use this knowledge. We can go be trivia buddies at the bar, trivia bar night. Win some bar dollars.
This right here is the ultimate trivia package. You get your kind of like animated big blockbuster movies from Disney, kind of get some of your TV trivia questions from Hulu, and then obviously the sports category from ESPN.
Yeah, exactly. And I keep telling people this, UFC, because that's all I hear about. People like, we're going to the bar to watch UFC. I'm like, it's on ESPN Plus now. You can watch them on there. So, I think Disney Plus by itself is awesome. I've talked to my wife. Disney Plus is 8, Hulu is 6. If we combine that together, that's still less than 13, or more than 13. So I'm like, well, we could probably get this and work it out. So I'm interested. It's got me thinking about it even more. Getting a nice big package from Disney Plus, Mike. What do you think they're gonna call it? Is there gonna be like a name for this?
It's just gonna be called The Package, and then they know people are gonna make the innuendos, but they're like, we're Disney, we don't care. We want you to make that innuendo, because when is The Package a bad thing to say?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have the biggest package? We do. Yeah. It's just a picture of Deadpool holding up juggling all the logos. He's like, get the package.
There you go.
It's what you use it for. Speaking of 20th Century Fox properties, the merger and productions, and mostly Dark Phoenix, have caused a huge operating loss to Disney during their third quarter. Which I don't know.
That's what happens when you absorb a lesser company. Now you're on the hook for their financials.
Yeah. And I was like, third quarter. I don't know when their quarters are, but I figured Endgame and Dark Phoenix would be close enough to be in the same quarter. But I was probably very mistaken. But if Endgame can't even save them, I mean, they made enough money this year. This is not going to affect them in the long run. But Dark Phoenix,
nobody cry any tears for Disney. They'll be just fine.
Yeah, well, I mean, what a What a suck for Dark Phoenix.
Doesn't
man.
this really start to make your mind start to crank about New Mutants? You know, we said that we weren't supposed to be getting that movie until next year. Doesn't that just seem like such a long ways away, especially with the announcement of all of these streaming services and all of these brand new Marvel movies that we're going to be getting, that New Mutants is just kind of floating out there in the ether like this Fox property that's not attached to anything anymore? I really think that it's going to be a streaming exclusive property.
I have asked people in my office who know nothing about comic movies, right? I am the only one there. Hey, what is New Mutants to you? And they're like, what? I'm like, what do you associate with? They're like, I have no idea. So nobody else but us knows New Mutants A is coming out, and B, that it's connected to anything at all. So I'm like, maybe it will just float on. Like, I think it might hit a... It's going to be one of those movies. What was it? Hellboy? It came out for like a day, and then it was like next month it was home release kind of thing.
Yeah. I feel like it's not going to get the theatrical release. I think it's going to go to like Hulu. I don't even think Disney Plus wants it on its catalog. I mean, Maisie Williams, they're going to be like, why does she look so young in this movie? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I think it'll get theater release just simply... I just think it'll
so
do
they
it
can qualify for the Oscars. Hey, we put New Mutants in theaters, so now we qualify.
I think it'll just be one of those palate cleansers before Black Widow. You're like, oh, this, and then you're like, oh, Black Widow's that much better because you have something else, to compare it to. Because, I mean, I think Black Widow's gonna be fine. I just don't know anything about it yet. It's one of those things. Like, what does that affect? Were you the cheerleader effect? Is that what that's called?
Where it's surrounded by a bunch of other properties?
Yeah, where it's surrounded by a bunch of properties that are not doing as well, so it makes yours look that much better, kind of thing. You take those away, it's still not that good. But if you put them around these other ones, it's gonna be that. It's gonna be good. You won't have a lot of people on the internet complaining about a female-led movie when they're complaining about New Mutants. A little louder.
There you go.
But the reports for this loss are going to focus on other properties that have shown success before: Avatar, Planet of the Apes, a bunch of other things.
Planet of the Apes, that's done. What's happening there?
Well, I mean that iteration's done. I mean they can do spin-offs, more movies, reboot it, whatever they want, TV shows.
We're gonna keep cranking out these monkeys till the end of the time.
You know how many are in the original Planet of the Apes? There's like 8 of them. With like the old Charlton Heston ones with all the masks and stuff.
Maybe Planet of the Apes will go full Furious franchise, and we'll just get so many, and it'll just get so detached from the originals that they'll start like driving cars and like doing heists and stuff.
Mm-hmm. I'm expecting time travel. Cross it over with Terminator, another Fox. Is that Fox? Maybe. Probably.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Put it in there with Terminator. That's what I'm telling you to do. Cross-pollinate some of these things. Put them on Avatar. It's a whole different planet. Other Disney properties, Disney Plus properties, will be seeing a reboot of Home Alone, which people are upset about for some reason.
I'm upset about it.
Why? There was a third one. Do you ever complain about the third one, which sucked?
Well, actually, surprisingly, the third one is not that bad. Because the third one is removed from, like, the McAllisters. It's really just kind of taking the property of, like, a kid being at home alone. And there's some funny stuff in there, but, it's really just kind of throwaway. But, like, it just depends. Like, are you rebooting it and, like, continuing on with the McAllister lineage? Or are you trying to do, if it's Disney Plus, are you thinking about doing a series? I think it's like the slippery slope method, where it's like the first 2 Home Alone movies are so iconic. It's like, how much longer until they get to something like Back to the Future, which does not need to be rebooted? Well, I don't know.
I don't think it's that slippery. I think Home Alone's one of the things that worked out great. The first 2 are awesome, right? I agree. The third one nobody talks about or even mentions at all. But this can be that one, like it's not a reboot of the McAllisters. It's here's the premise of this person home alone in a modern world now. Like,
I think what's really gonna flavor how I feel about it is what are they gonna do with these Disney Plus films, these features? Obviously, the Marvel streaming series, Kevin Feige has committed them to being the quality of the movies, but there's like a holiday movie with Anna Kendrick coming out for Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. Is that going to feel like a premium movie that just happened to be released on streaming right away, or is it just kind of have that lifetime feeling to it?
So
because the Netflix movies so far haven't been that great.
So where do you put? Well, Netflix is also running out of money very quickly. Disney is not. Now, where do you put Disney Channel movies on that list of quality.
I think you're going to have to talk about the last time I've seen a Disney Channel movie. I was a big fan of the Disney Channel movie when I was a kid because it was a fun event. Like once a month, you got like one movie like Brink or what was there was
well,
one
you got Xenon. Xenon's the first one that comes to mind that everyone talks about.
Those were one also, but those were just kind of, I don't want to call them trash, but those were just made for like kids. You know, Home Alone is like a full family pleaser. So I hope it's that same kind of quality.
I think that the title, the franchise, the original franchise name will determine that, because I don't expect anything but Hallmark out of a Cheaper by the Dozen sequel. Like
I think this is what you do with Home Alone, because you go like anthology with it. You just have like 8 episodes, and each episode just has a different kid in a different scenario being at Home Alone. Go dark and Black Mirror if you want with it, or just maybe go lighthearted. But at least then you're kind of invigorating the formula and changing it up a little bit. You know, you could have like obviously probably do at least a girl at Home Alone, because we haven't seen that since all the movies have been boys.
You could do that. You could do siblings. To more people. I honestly think that the thing is, we live in a world where my house is connected to my phone. If I'm not here, I'm going to know. So how do you do that in a world where every kid has a cell phone and everyone knows what's going on, right?
If this truly is an anthology, every single episode or movie starts out with the robbers just cutting the coax cable at the very beginning. Like, that's going to be the first line of every script. We got to get that out of the way. They cut the internet, you know, and they explode. They strap C4 to the local cell phone tower.
Just a quick EMP blast to the house. Really take it all out.
We're going to need this very expensive EMP device to rob this house.
I think it's going to be one of those things where the kid goes to visit some relatives out on the farm or out in a very remotely disconnected town. He doesn't have the technology advantage.
I'm already seeing the awful script in my head.
You are not
just
the
like,
audience. I'll tell you that right now. You are not the audience for Home Alone.
I am the audience for Home Alone. Like, if it was a totally different property, like Cheaper by the Dozens, to me, literally in the title, is like a cheaper franchise by nature. It didn't reach the kind of like echelon of like Home Alone. Like, Home Alone is just an absolute full family classic. You just can't cheapen it. But go ahead and they can Cheaper by the Dozen. Do whatever the hell you want with that one.
I think you can add as many movies to Home Alone as you want, but you can always go back and watch the originals. It will never ever take those away from you.
I just feel like they're just trying to call up Macaulay Culkin and they'd be like, "Hey, do you want to come back and play the dad?" Because if they cast somebody else to play McAllister, like they're just gonna be like, "Oh, because he's like weird and strung
If anything, it's gonna be his kids. It's gonna be one of those sequels. But I don't think he plays the dad. I think he plays the neighbor with the beard and the snow shovel.
I mean, maybe. I feel like the Home Alone sequel or reboot that I really want is just too weird for Disney Plus, you know, so it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's going to be focused again at kids who are like, yeah, I want to be left at home alone, and I'm going to throw down some Hot Wheels on the floor because.
But as opposed to Home Alone, I'm totally okay with like Night at the Museum. I mean, you know, those are just kind of like two just kind of like fun, interesting concepts with Ben Stiller. You could extrapolate on that a lot more for sure.
Well, I also think Diary of a Wimpy Kid, you know, that's a book series. My wife, she teaches 5th graders. They love that stuff. Like you put that in front of them all day. Crank those out every year. You're fine. Yeah. Like they're gonna watch them.
That's the perfect example. Like Diary of the Wimpy Kid is definitely for a young kid audience. They're not caring about pleasing adults with that film. So yeah, you can obviously tell I'm not worried about Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's a lot more in here, but I mean we've got several years before we're gonna see anything really pop up out of these as well. They're just gotta be like, what do we do now that we inherited a money suck right out the gate? So let's see what we can do there. But we were talking about Deadpool earlier because I knew we were going to talk about him now. Variety reports there are debates in the Disney Marvel camps about whether Deadpool can seamlessly move between R-rated solo films and PG-13 rated MCU movies, as in like cameos, team-ups, etc. I firmly have no feeling either way. They can do either one, and I will be totally fine.
Don't try to fix what's not broken. That's how I feel. Deadpool is the perfect type of character where you don't have to worry about trying to finesse him into a universe. He's just like this weird third wall breaking character that can specifically talk to the audience when things get weird and tell you how you should feel or how this is weird. But you do bring up a good point of, well, what does happen when this very popular character crosses over, like with Spider-Man or something like that, with Tom Holland? So, how do you tone him down there? Obviously, I don't think you can put Tom Holland in a Deadpool movie and have him swear, but you could go the other way, I think, much easier. You could put like any like straight-laced superhero in a Deadpool movie, and they play the Boy Scout, they don't swear because that makes sense from the universe they're coming from.
But I think the concern is here, you have 2 R-rated Deadpool movies, right? And a third one in the works. Of course, they're never going to change those. But how do you put him in, say, the Avengers or the X-Men, where they cannot go beyond that? And like, should you? And they're like, oh, who's that? And the kid's like, who's that character? I'm gonna go try to watch Deadpool. Is the concern? Is really what it boils down to. How do you prevent them from being like, oh, I want to go watch Deadpool movies now, and then be like, oh, that's not what I thought I was getting into, because he was in a PG-13 movie.
Well, it almost seems like if Disney is kind of worried about that, it's like it's already set in stone. Like, you can't soften up Deadpool for a younger audience, because guess what? You already own 2 very rated R movies in the catalog. So what happens when that kid starts Googling Deadpool movies and now he thinks he's an okay character to watch? I think, I don't need Deadpool in my Avengers movies. Just make Deadpool like extra awesome now that he has access to the MCU. Like, obviously Cap's not around anymore, but like, it would be really funny if like Captain America did cross over in a Deadpool movie for a little bit or for a scene or whatever, because like he's not gonna swear. He's like a button-up Boy Scout, and that would be fun for him to play against Deadpool. And it's a siloed rated R version. You're not really gonna taint the characters so much when they go into a Deadpool movie, because if adults and parents are doing what they're supposed to do, like, the kids won't be watching that rated R movie anyway. Right. And we know that Deadpool's not going to be showing up on Disney Plus anyway. So. Right.
So I think the solution here is easy. Just don't put him in any other interconnected movie. Have him be his own branching, I guess, series.
Yeah, exactly.
He can reference anything he wants all day long, but like, don't put him in your X-Men movies. Don't put him in any other movie, Spider-Man, like you said. Never have him touch those, but he can reference anything he wants in his own little line.
We got plenty of every other character in the MCU is already wisecracking and funny. You don't need to add another more explicit wisecracking funny person. So and there you go. We've solved the problem.
Yeah. and he's had a better run with unknown characters like Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Francis or Ajax, if you will. And I forget what Cable could have been way better, but that's neither here nor there. But I think just keep him as it is. Don't bring him in. Kevin Feige, you listen to us. We know what we're doing over here.
Yeah.
We do this for a living. We don't. Thor: Love and Thunder. Reportedly, the script has been completed by Taika Waititi. That's why they were to announce it as coming out in the next 2 years. So,
hey, all right, cool.
They're going to start filming next year. Supposedly, he has like a secret project he's working on beforehand, like that he's just going to be filming on, like his own little thing. But whether that comes to be or not, I don't care, as long as Love and Thunder comes out really good, which it seems like it will, right? I mean,
sure.
I have full faith. I have full faith in this movie and this cast. And
who doesn't? I mean, he's got a proven track record at Marvel so far. No, a lot of people that I talk to who aren't big MCU fans, they say Ragnarok is their favorite movie, and they've only seen like maybe a few other of the films, and they're like, oh yeah, Ragnarok all the way. That's my movie. So, Love and Thunder will do very well.
Yeah. And it's got Natalie Portman again. So, I mean, I was watching The Phantom Menace the other day. I think I finished it. I think I fell asleep halfway through. Then I woke up for the end.
I fell asleep halfway through it, but I did finish it.
When they started doing the politics and the Senate and the chamber, I'm like, oh, God, this is...
I'm guessing you woke up when you started hearing...
I did. I woke up right when they got into the thing and the last
because that's like one of the... I mean, I say this, I think, all the time when I talk about Star Wars on this show. Even when the story is just garbage, the effects and the music is always awesome. So you can always count on the music to be banging.
And it looks good. Like, it's a physically not a bad movie to watch. None of them are. So I'm like, I watched the beginning, like, oh, cool, here we go. And then I'm like, oh, no, pod racing is over. What's next? So, yeah. Marvel TV is apparently, they're still trying to put Marvel properties on ABC. I don't see this working out very well. But the ABC Entertainment, the TV production, is in active talks about a project that focuses on a brand new female character, mostly. Why they use the word mostly, I don't know, but that was their words, not mine.
I mean, I feel like we've probably talked about this same type of story before over the last couple of years. I feel like they're always like, oh, we're getting around to it. We're going to do that female-led TV show. You had one. It was called Agent Carter, and we all really liked it. So I don't know what they think they're trying to do here. It seems like all of the Marvel TV properties on kind of like airing television that goes over the airwaves is slowly ending. You know, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is ending. You're watching Legion, and that one's wrapping up. I wouldn't be surprised if Cloak and Dagger and Runaways wrap up here soon. So I know that the TV department and the movie department haven't gotten along the best in the past, but seems like things are shaking up over there now. So Marvel TV, if you don't have something ready for us by the time Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ends, I feel like ABC is just not going to be the home for superhero TV shows moving forward.
Well, I mean, yeah, they I don't feel like they don't even want them. They're just like, yeah, we're going to do one, and then they never really do. And then they're like, oh man, we should have kept doing that. And now Marvel Studios is like, we can make our own TV shows on Disney Plus. We don't need you anymore. But I think Cloak and Dagger, which is on Freeform. Runaways is Hulu only, so I think those two will stay around a lot longer.
And where the hell is our New Warriors TV show? Yeah. Isn't that thing filmed already?
Yeah. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's New Warriors.
Every once in a while, I see the Melissa Van Trub, Squirrel Girl. I see her like kind of like pop up in like a retweet or something like that, and I'm just like, it's hilarious how she's like a thing now because she's been cast in a Marvel property, but she hasn't even aired yet on television. But she like, it's just like the aura of Marvel is around her that she's now famous.
Yeah, and you know, just mostly from her AT&T commercials, and but I don't know. It's people are like, oh, maybe it's She-Hulk. I'm like, they're not gonna get someone who's green for a whole series. That's out of the talks. I don't think anything's gonna happen out of this, but whatever. They can keep throwing pennies in that wishing well. That's for sure. Phil Lord and Chris Miller are developing live-action TV shows based on the Sony Spider-Man library.
Ooh. Okay. Here we go.
They they have about 900 from Spider-Man's vast resources to pull from of characters. And that's just Spider-Man slice of pie here. Now, I think they are Spider-Man people? No. But they said that each show will be a unique experience, but also related. So they're doing a Marvel thing.
Basically, it's going to be like, if it's any, like, I feel like any character that might be kind of known, like Morbius, is just going to end up being a movie. So if you go below tier of like Morbius, it's just like, what's the point? What is the point? Like, none of these characters are ever going to interact with Spider-Man. I mean, you might be able to do like some interesting like Oscorp storylines, but there's never going to be any crossover here. We're not gonna see any of the stuff that we want to see. Like, I'm just imagining a Tony Revolori, Flash Thompson TV show, just because it's like, well, what can we pluck that's been in a movie that we can actually market that probably isn't going to have huge roles in those Spider-Man movies moving forward? And like, so it would probably be somebody like Flash Thompson. Like, no, I don't know if the show would be about him or if he would just be in it also. But it's like we've talked about I feel like we've had this exact same conversation before when Sony was developing all of these possible movies. It's just like, nobody cares if Spider-Man's not in it. Or if it doesn't tangentially look like Spider-Man. Like, Venom at least looks like Spider-Man, you know?
Here it is. The Spider-Man Revenge Squad from the comic books consists of a character named Spot, a character named Grizzly, and one named Kangaroo 2. I don't even know who the first one is. And Gibbon. These are all animal creature-looking dudes. So I think, Spot, actually, he's the guy with the spots, and he can punch through the spots to hit Spider-Man. I think it's going to be all these random people, the weakest villains you'll ever heard. And that's what it's going to be.
It's just so weird because it's like Lord and Miller are attached to it. I love those guys. It makes me think that, like, maybe just like we talked about the Game of Thrones creators, maybe this is just a paycheck. You know, these guys are just going to be producers. They're not really going to be doing anything directly. They'll hire somebody else to showrun, and they'll just cash their checks and then move on to their next exclusive deal at a different studio. Because there's also news out there of them possibly adapting Spider-Verse into a TV series.
Or I think that's what this was related to. Because they said like so their exact words for, I think it was Phil Lord, he said that they're not going to announce anything or even do it until they get it right. And I'm like, so we're never going to see this.
Yeah, you're not going to get it right. But that's specifically talking about the live action side of things. Now, if we talk animated, yeah, let's do it, because you've already proven how awesome you guys can handle the animated side of things. And it's so much easier to get a villain like Spot or maybe Hero Spot, however they want to take them across in an animated sense. And then at least you could bring over these alternate universe Spider-Men, you know, like it's like, okay, maybe we don't get proper Spider-Man, but maybe we can get that, what was her name? Kamiko?
The mech one.
Yeah, maybe we can get her in like a standalone series or something like that. But yeah, if you're talking Lord and Miller, I want to see animated Spider-Man. I don't want to hear any more talk about this live action nonsense.
And they signed that exclusive first look deal with Universal. So like, again, how many pots can they have their hands in, man?
Yeah,
so
they were expecting a longer relationship with Star Wars to get some of that Star Wars money. So now their accountant's like, yeah, just tell them you'll make this live action Spider-Man stuff. Get that paycheck.
Yeah. Write down Spider-Man on a piece. Quick, do a Google. Find some characters. Make a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah. But speaking of Spider-Man, we've talked about this about every week for the past like month. I feel like Andy Serkis is officially directing Venom 2. Mm-hmm. So, and Tom Hardy, he said Tom Hardy has worked with him to help write the script and giving a different direction than the first Venom movie.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear.
Which is what everyone wants.
Yeah.
And I think Andy Serkis does hold him, like we said, he hasn't done a lot in terms of directing other than the Jungle Book movie he did for Netflix, which I heard people like. I went and looked that up after. Like, people really like that one. I don't really want to watch it, but I've read really good reviews.
I heard, because Mowgli did pop up again in the zeitgeist since Andy Serkis was in the news for Venom, and I heard some people say that version of the Jungle Book was surprisingly dark, so that could work very well with Venom. But last week I said that it feels like Andy Serkis maybe has something to prove now on the big screen. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to see what he does with Venom.
Yeah, exactly. I think he can only blow us away with that. So Michelle Williams has also confirmed her return. Hopefully they give her actually something to do this time.
Was she the girlfriend?
Yeah. The She-Venom.
I just hope she doesn't have a weird ass wig this time around.
What'd she do at the end? Push a button? Isn't that like it's like the end of Iron Man 1 where Ben's like, push the button, and she's like, I don't want to, you'll die. And then she pushes the button. I don't know. It's one of those things, but she'll be in the back. She'll be back. Same cast. I really think they got to get what's his name in there again for Carnage. You know, they had the teaser at the end of that.
Woody Harrelson
for Carnage. Like, they really got to lean into that.
Chris, it's going to be Tony Revolori. He's going to be the night nurse Philip Coulson of this Spider-Man universe. They're just going to be throwing Flash Thompson around all the place. But he's just going to be mean to people. He's just going to be the bully for every movie that he's in.
You know, Venom was with Flash for like 5 years in the comic books.
Yeah, but I can't imagine Tony Revolori being.
I don't think they're gonna pull anyone from Marvel. I think if they try to do that, Marvel will be like, that's a big no here. We just made you $1 billion. You just step off for that. But we're coming up in October. The dark anti-hero season is the Joker movie, and box office predictions we're getting in that window now. I have the film bringing in between 60 and 90 million domestically, which is pretty awesome for a DC movie. Aquaman only did 67 million, and Shazam did 53 million on their opening weekends. So
now, I've been hearing rumors and whispers that this film might possibly take the advantage and try to maybe do like an Oscar campaign around this movie. I don't know exactly what category they're thinking about, but that means that somebody out there in Hollywood thinks that there's a really, really powerful performance in this film. So
it is debuting at the Toronto Film Festival in September before it hits screens. So it could be Bradley Cooper is one of the producers. maybe he's doing the push on the back end.
I mean, how often do you get like your superhero movies debuting at film festivals? Like top tier, like DC, Marvel. So this will be interesting. I like the music they use in the trailer, because I catch this trailer like I feel like every now and again in front of a film, because we haven't really gotten another one, and we've just kind of had that same one for a while. So I'm getting down for this one.
Yeah, it's got that R rating too, so we're gonna get that dark, violent movie. We need something new. I think we'll see it as a hype up the film festival coming this month. Lastly, I hadn't seen this yet, but apparently the Titans season 2 trailer came out this week, and I watched it right before this. And this the first season of Titans is what 4-5 people on the team. This season looks like there's 20 people on the Titans team, and you're a bigger Teen Titans fan than I am, so do any of these characters hype you up or make you feel that much more jazzed for this show, with literally the inclusion of almost everybody?
I mean, I do like the characters of the Teen Titans, but as we've known, I've been very, very, very bad about getting around to any of this DC Universe stuff. But I saw some people in the comments for this trailer say, oh, it looks like they might be taking more of a Doom Patrol route with this second season. So I would take that as maybe they're just kind of loosening it up and maybe not trying to be so brooding, and maybe being a little bit more not wacky and zany, but maybe just
more
take it a little
powers?
lighter.
Because I think the first season was very light on actual abilities and powers, and this one looks like you see Wonder Girl, her lasso lights up several times. They got a Superboy. Raven actually looked more comic book accurate in this one with her gem in the head and the light. Purple hair.
I think younger Robin. Not Nightwing is at the beginning of the trailer, and he says, does he say like we're back, bitches? Does he swear?
Yeah, the Titans are back. I don't know if he did or not. They didn't have a fuck Batman tone in this trailer.
Yeah, we do get to see older Bruce Wayne. I've seen a lot of people generating their hot take thumbnails and putting him next to the Batman Beyond old Bruce Wayne, because he's the only Bruce Wayne that really exists out there in the zeitgeist, kind of beyond like the Dark Knight Returns.
Until
I don't
this
think
winter.
Yeah, I don't think they're taking that route for it. I think maybe the CW crossover might take the Batman Beyond route, because that crossover is going to be total fan service, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
But does this make me want to check out Titans? Like, I still want to check out Titans. I still want to check out all of this DC stuff, but I mean, like, come on, when stuff like The Boys is coming out, that's like really kind of changing the game and telling this brand new story that I'm not really familiar with, I'm going to be more drawn to The Boys than I'm going to with this lower budget kind of Berlanti universe Titans. I guess it seems like I'm throwing shade, but
it really sounds like but like this actually has like I watched some episodes on the first season, and it's very dry and very light on like all the superhero stuff. And so everything I wanted in Titans is I'm like, I want superheroes and supervillains, right? Like that's what you want in a superhero show. And it seems like they're like, okay, fine then, here you go. We're pulling back the curtain. Here's literally so many more Titans and so many more characters to play with. But their Deathstroke does feel like that footage leak they did for the Batman movie a long time ago. I'm like, is that the same Deathstroke? Did you get the same costume? Is that is that Manganiello in there?
Yeah, are you in there? I found out recently that dude is a really big Dungeons and Dragons fan. He has like his he has like his own like kind of like man cave with like a table, and he brings over like some big name celebrities like to play D&D. So good for him. But anyway, Titans. I need one of those broken leg moments where I'm just like saddled up on the couch and I need a bunch of stuff to watch.
Can we have someone edit a season 1 recap for you and then just go right into 2?
Oh, it's probably already out there. I should just go on YouTube and look up a recap, and I can just save myself a lot of time. It's one thing that's really funny to do, because I believe I still follow the DC streaming service on Twitter, so I see a lot of retweets or direct tweets about the new episode of Swamp Thing is out. Oh, now all episodes of Swamp Thing are out. Go binge. And then all I do is go and click and look at the replies just to see all the comments. Like half of them are just like, why am I gonna watch this? Thing's canceled, or hashtag save Swamp Thing. I'm just like, oh, you poor souls, they're not saving this show, it was too expensive. So
yeah,
Swamp Thing.
No, Swamp Thing's out. What was it? hello, Swamp Thing savers. Here are the Snyder Cut people. Why don't you guys hang out and have a party together? We'll get you something.
The Snyder Cut has Swamp Thing in it, I swear.
Yeah. Yep, it does. Yep, congratulations. You guys got it. So, but yeah, I mean, I think the trailer looks fun with all the powers and stuff like that. I was a little more hyped than I had been about.
There's energy in it for sure. I won't lie. There's energy in that trailer.
Yeah. Speaking of Batman Beyond, I was finally able to get all the episodes, so I can watch those now and report back to Mike. Should he get the Blu-ray, which he probably will when it comes out.
Report back.
I will. Very excited. Mike, that's our show this week. It's 8 o'clock here. I need to go eat some dinner. Maybe I'll post a picture of it later, but if people want to see what you're doing, maybe you have photos from camping. I don't think so, but
yeah, I put some stuff up in my Instagram story.
Where can they find you at then?
Well, if you want to see some sizzling bacon from my Instagram story, cooked over a campfire.
Campfire bacon.
It was delicious. All you got to do is follow me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram and Twitter, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, people want to catch up with you, find out what you're doing. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Valdan, Valdan, or Instagram, Valdan87. I've talked to a lot of people this weekend at this party I was at. I think I've convinced 2 more people to join me at C2E2 this coming late February, early March.
Nice.
If you're interested in going and you have questions or you want to get a rundown, let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you out because I want to get so many people going to this thing that I have a whole posse when I'm there. I'm like, come. We're going to have a Superhero Slate panel, Mike. We'll fly you in. We'll sit there and talk. We'll do an episode live right there so people can yell at us in person when they really don't like what we're doing. It's going to be so exciting. You can also have the Comic UI and go over there. If people want to know more about our episodes and what we're doing, where can they find us at, Mike?
All you got to do is visit superheroslate.com. That's the best place to find our awesome show notes. So we talked about a lot of really interesting and intriguing stuff. And if you want all of the itemized bullet points and time codes, all you got to do is visit superheroslate.com. And you can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and more. You should definitely like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. You can get merch at superheroslate.com/store. We love hearing from you guys. So if you're a big Titans fan and you're just really mad that I haven't watched it yet, reach out and let us know. And also, yeah, Chris, you haven't finished it yet either. So you do get more credit than me because you've seen a couple episodes. But if
I've also read the recaps.
If people want it, we'll go watch it. But now I feel like season 2 is coming out, so maybe I just wait till season 2 finishes, and it's just like a vicious cycle, and it's just like they keep making it, so I haven't watched it.
But what
yet.
if they cancel seson 2? Then you'll be like, well, there's no reason to watch. It's already canceled.
See, there you go.
See,
That's my out that I'm looking for.
You're putting yourself in the damned if I do, damned if I don't thing. Catch 22.
Exactly. So we love hearing from you. Reach out. And we love our super fans. If you want to be a super fan of the show, all you got to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every single week like we have for the last, 4 years now? 3 years? I've lost track. This is episode 235, and we're not those people that start the episodes at 100. We have done 235 news episodes for you.
Yeah.
So check us out. Make sure you're subscribed, and we will be with you in the long run. Here comes Shang-Chi and all the other shows. We'll be ready.
Yeah, we're going to be here whether you like it or not. So just, stay subscribed. It's free, right? Doesn't cost you anything. So we'll do that. And we'll catch you guys next week.
All right, bye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
Thank God for Google Voice.
Yeah, that's helpful.
I'm just going to make a bunch of fake phone numbers, and you can deal with that.